It's a massive fight. Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena is a massive fight. There are two things that have to happen for these guys. If Belal Muhammad is going to be successful in his first title defense,
I'm gonna go with Belal. I think him having that experience, that weird fight night, pay-per-view experience, have enough.
MMA experts have shared their shocking predictions on the upcoming fight between Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena. Kamaru Usman believes Jack Della Maddalena was always meant to fight for the UFC welterweight title. When Henry Cejudo asked if Jack could really compete with a well-rounded fighter, Usman quickly said yes. He praised Jack for staying calm during fights, saying that kind of mental strength is hard to break. Usman also pointed out Jack's determination, comparing him to fighters who keep getting up no matter how many times they're taken down, something that's frustrating for wrestlers. He sees that same never give up attitude in Jack.
Jack Della Maddalena is going to be fighting for the UFC welterweight title.
Do you really give JDM a shot against a guy that mixes his fighting?
I do. I absolutely do. He's so relaxed to where it's very, very hard to beat him, to discourage him from trying. There are some guys to where you can take down 50 million times, they're still going to keep trying to get up. And as wrestlers, we know how annoying that is.
Kamaru Usman thinks Jack Della Maddalena can win if he stays aggressive and uses a mix of strikes. He said Jack doesn't need to focus on wrestling or takedowns, just keep coming forward with different attacks. Usman praised Jack for staying calm under pressure, which helps him stay focused even in tough spots. He used Jack's fight with Gilbert Burns as an example, where Jack kept getting up after being taken down and kept fighting back, trying to turn the fight around.
The keys to victory for a guy like JDM.
He's just got to mix it up. When I say mix it up, I don't mean shooting him for takedowns. I mean, he's got to go forward and he's got to mix up his strikes. That's the one thing that I like about this guy. He's so relaxed. He sees the pressure come. He's able to sidestep or just kind of relax in there. In fights like the Gilbert Burns fight, Gilbert was winning that fight. Gilbert was taking him down, controlling him, but he never stopped trying. When he got up to his feet, he was able to land certain things to try to make him pay.
Sean Brady gave his take on the Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena fight. He's been supporting Belal since they fought, saying that Belal doing well makes his own loss look better. Brady admitted Jack is powerful and tough, but he believes Belal always figures out how to win and expects him to do the same this time. Still, if Belal loses, Brady said he'd be willing to fight him again for a top spot.
I've been rooting for Belal since he beat me, of course. The better he does, the better it makes my loss look to him, you know. He went out, he beat Leon, and now he's fighting Jack, which Jack's a super tough fight. I was getting ready for Jack for our fight before when I had to pull out, and I know how good Jack is, and Jack can knock anybody out in the world, but you can't bet against Belal. He finds ways to win, and I think he's going to win that one. And of course, I want him to be champion when we fight again. But if for some reason he does lose, I would fight him for a #1 contender. So yeah, there's options out there.
Daniel Cormier highlighted the importance of Belal Muhammad defending his title with the same pressure and tactics he used against Leon Edwards, focusing on takedowns and controlling the fight. If the fight stays standing, Belal could struggle. For Jack Della Maddalena, defending takedowns is crucial, recalling his past struggles against Basil Hafez. If Jack fails to stop takedowns against Belal, he won't win. Cormier expressed excitement for this massive 170-pound matchup and Belal's title defense.
It's a massive fight. Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena is a massive fight. There are two things that have to happen for these guys. If Belal Muhammad is going to be successful in his first title defense, he has to look and fight in the same way that he fought Leon Edwards. He's got to have a lot of pressure, he's got to secure takedowns, and he's got to keep Jack guessing. Because if Jack Della Maddalena is able to just stand and strike with him, Belal's going to be out of his element. But when he mixes everything together, the wrestling, the takedowns, the striking, he can fight anyone, and he really can overwhelm you. That is why he knocked out Sean Brady, and that is why he truly outclassed Leon Rocky Edwards. So Belal Muhammad has to be that full mixed martial artist, and the pressure has got to be very present. And for Della Maddalena, he's got to defend takedowns. There was a fight that Jack Della fought in the Apex. Basil Hafez, and he was losing, had to have a very good third round to win that fight because Hafez successfully took him down over and over again. That can't happen. happen. If that starts to happen against a fighter at the level of Belal Muhammad, he's not getting the job done. This is an absolute massive fight at 170 pounds. And honestly, I'm very excited that we finally get to see Belal Muhammad defend that championship.
Former UFC champ Jamahal Hill gave his opinion on the Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena matchup. He chose Belal to win, even though he respects Jack's toughness and solid boxing. But Hill noted that Jack has trouble getting close to his opponents, which could hurt him in this fight. He thinks if Belal keeps his range, Jack will have to work harder to land shots. That would help Belal use his strength, set the pace, and bring in his wrestling, making it a hard fight for Jack.
No question, I gotta go with Belal Muhammad. Jack is a beast, and he does present some problems as far as with the boxing and things like that go. But I believe his one of his deficiencies is covering distance. I mean, closing the distance and closing the range. So I believe if Belal keeps a good distance in between, it makes him actually have to work to get to him. It'll make it easier for him to get, to get off into what he likes to do, which is make people work, put them in that blender work piece and with punches and then the grappling.
UFC bantamweight fighter Corey Sandhagen gave his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena, saying that he thinks Belal will come out on top. Although he respects Jack and enjoys watching him fight, Sandhagen believes Belal has the advantage in this particular matchup. He pointed out Belal's experience, well-rounded skill set, and ability to follow a smart game plan as key reasons why he's picking him to win.
Oh yeah, I forgot that one. Probably, I think Belal will win that one.
Okay.
I like JDM, but Belal, I think, will win that one.
UFC lightweight fighter Gage Young had high praise for Jack Della Maddalena's exciting style and crisp boxing, especially his skill in landing strong body shots. But when it comes to fighting Belal Muhammad, he thinks the outcome might not go Jack's way. Gage admitted that while Belal's style can be predictable, it's still very effective. Even though some fans don't like Belal's approach, Gage respects how well he sticks to his game plan at the highest level. In the end, he believes Belal will win, as he doubts Jack can stop the takedowns.
JDM's got a super dynamic style. I love his boxing. He mixes it up, goes to the body well. I think that'll be good for a guy like Belal, especially because everybody knows what Belal's plan is, you know what I'm saying? He does what he does really well, and I respect what he does. You know, he gets a lot of hate for, like, you know, his style, and it is kind of a boring style, but he does it really well at the highest level. I see that fight going to Belal, to be honest. I don't think JDM's gonna be able to stop the shot.
Daniel Rodriguez recognized Jack Della Maddalena's strong run, saying he's been doing a great job finishing fights and staying consistent in the octagon. Still, Rodriguez admitted he has a gut feeling that Belal Muhammad might just pull off the win. Even with how good Jack has looked lately, he thinks Belal could find a way to come out on top in this matchup.
JDM's on a roll, man. He's been, doing his fucking job. And, yeah, man, I don't know. I just think maybe Belal might take this one.
UFC heavyweight Curtis Blades also gave his thoughts on the Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena fight. He's picking Belal to win and successfully defend his title. Blades highlighted Belal's experience, especially in tough situations like competing on a pay-per-view card at 5 a.m. as a key advantage. He believes Belal's strong mindset and ability to stay focused under pressure could make the difference in helping him get the win.
I'm gonna go with Belal. I think him having that experience, that weird fight night, pay-per-view experience, having a fight at 5 a.m., I don't think there's anything harder than that. So I think mentally he'll have the advantage and that'll be enough.
Lightweight fighter Benail Dariush spoke about the abilities of welterweight champ Belal Muhammad. He said Belal doesn't get enough recognition for how good he really is. Dariush believes Belal has a big edge when it comes to grappling and is also solid with his striking. He feels Belal can handle himself in stand-up exchanges with Jack Della Maddalena and has the complete skill set to fight effectively in any area of the matchup.
Bro, Belal is so good. Like, you have to, I think people need to start recognizing his skill set. I think he has an advantage, big advantage, I would say, in the grappling. And he's not really behind in the striking. Like, I don't see, like, anything wrong where he would struggle too much with the striking. His striking is just fine. I think he would be able to, stand in his own with JDM as long as he needs to.
Darcy Vendy shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between Belal Muhammad and Jack. He views the contest as evenly matched. If Jack ends up on the canvas, he could face difficulties, but if the action remains on the feet, Belal might have a hard time keeping pace. Vendy feels the more straightforward approach for Jack would be to defend takedowns rather than Belal trying to land them. Ultimately, Vendy is supporting his fellow Australian to come out victorious.
Taylor, you are the last guy to get your arm raised against him, and he's got an upcoming championship bout in the UFC. How do you think that goes? What's your prediction?
I think it could honestly go one way or the other. I think if it ends up with Jack on his back, he's probably going to have a hard time. And I think if it stays standing, Belal's going to get what's given to him. But I think the easier to execute game plan is definitely Jack defending the takedowns. I think Belal has a tangibly harder time getting that job done than Jack ever will. I reckon Australia's going to have it.
I think so too, yes.
Torres Finney shared his opinion on the fight, picking Belal Muhammad to win. He thinks a lot of people don't give Belal enough credit for how skilled and steady he is. Finney admitted that JDM is a strong puncher and showed that in his big win over Gilbert Burns. But he pointed out that Belal has a more complete fighting style, especially with his strong wrestling and non-stop pressure. Finney said Belal is a better wrestler than both Gilbert and JDM, and he doesn't think JDM can stop Belal's takedowns or get back up once he's taken down. He thinks the fight will be similar to when Belal fought Leon Edwards.
That's a great fight. But I'm going Belal Muhammad. I think a lot of people sleep on Belal. He's really good overall. Yes, JDM has great boxing. Yes, he can put you out, as we saw, even when he was down 2 rounds to nothing against Gilbert Burns, what he did. But Belal Muhammad, he's an all-around fighter. He's got wrestling, his pace. I don't think he'll be able to stop those takedowns because, in my opinion, I think Belal Muhammad's a better wrestler than Gilbert Burns. I think Gilbert Burns is a better overall grappler, but as a wrestler, he's a better wrestler than JDM, and I don't see JDM really being able to get up. I can see this very similar to how it went with Leon Edwards.
Austin Vanderford shared his thoughts on the fight between Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena. He acknowledged Jack's strong boxing and well-rounded skills, but ultimately leaned toward Belal. Vanderford noted that while Belal often gets criticized for his fighting style, his relentlessness and work ethic can't be overlooked. He expects Belal to push the pace, put Jack in uncomfortable positions, and wear him down over time. Even if his early takedowns get stopped, Vanderford believes Belal will keep coming and eventually overwhelm Jack as the fight goes on.
I think Belal gets it done. JDM, great boxing, good overall fighter. But I think Belal goes out. He gets a lot of hate by his fight style and stuff, but you can't deny how relentless he is and goes and works hard and puts you in tough positions. So I see that happening in this fight too. I think he, might get stuffed on the first takedown, maybe the second, but he's just going to keep coming. I think he ends up kind of drowning him.
Chepe Mariscal shared his support for Belal Muhammad in the upcoming fight. He mentioned that they come from the same area and even spent some time training at the same UFC gyms. That's when he first got to know Belal. Mariscal praised the hard work Belal has put into his career and noted that he's now the champion for a reason. He believes Belal will show up ready and do what it takes to successfully defend his title.
I got Belal Muhammad, man. We grew up in the same area. We worked at the same UFC gyms a little bit. And then that's when I kind of knew of him, and then just the work ethic he's been doing in the game, and he's obviously the champ, and I feel like he's gonna do his job and defend it.
Elijah Smith gave his take on the Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena fight and is siding with Belal. He pointed to Belal's constant pressure and how much his striking has improved over time. He even felt Belal was doing well on the feet against Leon Edwards during their fight. Elijah believes Belal will bring that same energy again. He also mentioned that while people talk about Jack doing well against Gilbert Burns' grappling, he thinks Belal has a different kind of drive, something similar to Khabib's, that makes him much tougher to deal with in a fight.
I think Belal. Yeah. I think Belal, his ongoing pressure, and truth be told, not even truth be told, but I do feel like Belal's striking has gotten a lot better. Like when he was when he fought Leon Edwards, I thought he was getting the better of Leon on the feet. So yeah, I feel like he goes out there and does the same thing, and he has that more. I think people talk about like Jack Jack Della Maddalena fight with Gilbert. What's his name? Gilbert Burns, and they talk about the jiu-jitsu and how he was able to stop the jiu-jitsu and get back up to his feet. I just think Belal has more of that drive where it's like kind of like Khabib-esque, which is kind of harder to deal with.
Pedro Falcao shared a mixed but overall pro Jack Della Maddalena opinion on the upcoming fight. He admitted he's unsure if Jack will show the Canelo-style boxing he often talks about, but still leaned toward Belal Muhammad. At first, he suggested Jack might land a knockout and possibly earn a fight with Leon Edwards. Falcao said he enjoys both fighters' styles, but is a big fan of Jack's boxing-heavy approach, which matches his own preference. He believes the key for Jack is using his hands more than kicks, staying at range and stopping takedowns. Still, he acknowledged Belal's strong game plan, cardio, and past performance against someone like Edwards. In the end, though, he said it's a good matchup for Jack and picked him to win by TKO in the 4th round.
I love the both styles. Belal and Jack, but I'm big fan of Jack because I'm big fan boxing style, you know. This is like my style, boxing tips, you know. I love this style, and I think for the key for wrestling is fast hands, you know, better than kicks for block the takedowns and distance. But bro, Belal have a good game plan, good gas. You can't look at what he did with Edwards, you know. But for me, it's a good fight for Jack, for sure.
Okay, do you think he wins?
Jack Maddalena by TKO for round.
Modestas Bukauskas shared his view on the Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena fight, saying he believes Belal's wrestling will be too much for Jack to handle. He also gave credit to Belal's striking, noting how well he used it in his fight against Leon Edwards. Bukauskas thinks that if Belal uses a similar game plan, it should be enough for him to get the win.
I think Belal's wrestling will be too much. I definitely think that would be too much. And he put his striking together very well against Leon as well. So that being said, I think if he implements the same game plan, I think that will be enough to do the job.
Ian Gary is very sure Belal Muhammad will beat Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315. He said Belal gets stronger as the fight goes on because of his constant pressure and tough style. Gary called Belal a hard-working fighter who pushes the pace and doesn't back off. He's seen Jack struggle against weaker grapplers and thinks Belal's top-level wrestling will wear him down. Gary expects Belal to finish the fight in round 3 or 4 if Jack lasts that long.
Could I get a quick 315 prediction, Belal versus JDM?
Every minute that goes by, it puts Belal in a better position because he just is a workhorse. He's a grinder. He will grab a hold of you. He will be in your grill. He will make it ugly. He will slam you. He will just constantly be there. And I've watched Jack get ragdolled by people that aren't as good as Belal. And Belal is one of the best in the world at playing the game Belal does. And I think stylistically he gets his hand raised, and I think he gets a finish in the later rounds. I think if Jack can survive till 3 or 4, I think that's when the finish will come.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.